Okay, so this is fucking me vlogging my art for some fucking reason, and by for some reason it's because it's 3D. Um, it's harder to capture with just a camera. Anyways, the first is murder scene art for some fucking reason that I did. So you know that restaurant I took you to? Whoops. That secret ingredient they have. It's the homeless they take in off the streets. And I mean, I made this because there were a lot of homeless people where I went to college, and like it felt like they disappeared sometimes. Um, and I know that society doesn't really like to help. I guess that's an assumption, but given the amount of homeless people there are, I think that people like the fact that, well, subconsciously like the fact that homeless are some sort of like, this is what happens if you don't have a job and you get lost in life, so don't fuck up. Um, I feel like, and also around that time I was reading that fucking essay by that dude, Jonathan Swift. Might have fucked that up. But he wrote, the essay I'm talking about is talking about how we should eat kids off the street because it would save a lot of time and they aren't useful for anything else. It's a sarcastic essay, but now I gotta fucking look it up. Because if I don't, I'm gonna. Jonathan Swift. A modest proposal, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I haven't read it in a while, so I feel like maybe even my description of it isn't accurate, but I do remember that he proposes that, um, you know, we we eat kids, and I was like, I mean, if we're gonna make people suffer, that was like my first inclination of why allow people to suffer as much as we do, but not allow them to die in like a suicidal way. And I thought that's really fucked up because, I mean, I don't want anyone to die from suicide. I don't want anyone to feel miserable, but if I can't help the world and the world's not going to help the world, then why wouldn't death be allowed? Because if you don't feel like helping people out who are suffering, then why wouldn't you let them die? That doesn't make any sense because you're allowing them to suffer, which I feel like is worse than death. And I know that there's a lot of positivity and change happens for some people and things get better, but that's the problem is it's for some people, and just having that things will get better mindset ignores the fact that things don't get better, like, for the majority of people who are in that situation. Things don't magically just get better because you want to have a positive outlook on life and you want to say, well, you know, I don't want to help them, but like, things will get better. They just need to have more fucking faith in a dude in the sky. That's not realistic. You need to either help for real, which I would want to ask for help from every single person who's capable of it, but like, it's not it's not a thing that's gonna happen realistically because humans are too fucking fucked up. We're all fucked up together, and I feel like suicide's the only other fucking option. If we're not gonna help each other out, then we should at least let each other leave peacefully instead of having to fucking leave scared and afraid and alone, because that's what suicide does. You feel ostracized because you can't talk to anyone about it without them being like, well, you're going to be hospitalized immediately. And you can't fucking. And there's no peaceful way to do it unless you can get a hold of the drugs, which is rare. Um, the capabilities of doing that is rare. So I just don't understand why we wouldn't just legalize it so it could be a peaceful, happy end. Not happy, but like better than them running out into traffic and then disrupting so much shit for themselves and others. And the fact that most suicides currently aren't successful because people don't have the means to do it means that they were going through suffering, and then they can go through worse suffering. And then there are suicide survivors who give like speeches on why my attempt on suicide made me realize that life is great and just be more fucking happy and positive. And I always watch those and be like, I've attempted 3 times. I don't know how you got better instead of worse, but I don't feel like that happens a lot because I don't see a lot of examples in the suicide community, which, I mean, I've talked to several communities and I don't really hear that. It seems like a myth that's just kind of, they find specifically the suicidal people who do get cured or feel better just to have those talks. And they're helpful because they give people hope, but the problem with hope is that if it's false hope, then you're trying to fool people into delusionally thinking things will get better and then allowing them to suffer prolonged because you want things to be better, but you're not doing anything to make things better. And I'm not saying things can't get better. I'm not saying things that people aren't capable of making things better. I'm just saying that I feel like people are gambling on slow change, and that slow change is costing literal lives. And when you gamble with other people's lives, that's kind of just fucked up. Um, but what do I know? I mean, maybe I could be talked out of what I think. I know that the world's complex, and I know that I'm not for suicide, like allowing somebody to kill themselves day of the first suicidal thought they have. I'm talking about like legalize it in a way where like you have to go through some sort of process if you're terminally ill and there's like 99% chance that you're going to die, then yeah, like if then allow that person to choose their span in a way, because then it's kind of like, well, if they have like a week left to live, then it's kind of fucked up to just be like, well, you can't do it. But that would be the only exception as far as be allowing somebody to do it in a fast time span. Um, I would assume that as far as mental illness goes or any other kind of suffering, chronic illness, you get a year or something where you try everything there is to try. If you've already tried everything there is to try, you have to think about it for a year, so that way um you're not doing it by impulse, because I do understand that would be an issue, doing it by impulse. And I understand that there might be an issue in the future with over over overpopulation on planet Earth, where some governments might see the legalization of suicide and be like, let's use this as an excuse to kill anybody who has a relative suicidal thought because we don't want to kill people unjustly. And I feel like I'd regret if it turned into that, because I don't want this isn't a belief I have because I want people to commit suicide so much as I want to stop suffering, and I don't want that to be taken for anything other than what it is. Anyways, I'm completely off subject. I'm gonna continue showing art because fucking that's what this is for, and I don't even think anyone's going to see this ever, because I'm probably going to delete it like I do everything else that I do. Video-wise. Okay, no, I delete a lot of other shit, and sometimes it's not always deleting, it's just the IRL throwing away. But anyways, so this is a pill bottle. It's for... It's from an ex-doctor of mine, so I'm gonna assume that it's vitamin D, because I was super deficient of vitamin D, and they thought that's what was causing my depression, and I was kind of like, maybe. And I took it, and I'm still on the low end, but not enough to need it prescriptionally, and I don't really feel different, but then humans tend to have, and especially me, my fucking memory fucking sucks ass. I wouldn't be surprised at all if I found out that, I have changed and things have gotten better, but I just still feels bad because, and like, it's hard to remember for me how bad shit is, especially with bad people, because I tend to, in my mind, be like, well, they could have changed. If I don't see a person for a month, I start wondering if they really existed. If I don't see a person for a few months, I start wondering if I have memory problems because I don't remember them after a few months. Like, if this is if I don't keep in contact with a person. If I keep in contact with a person online and we just text, then I do question their existence after a few months still, but I never forget that they exist because they're messaging me, but I do wonder, like, are they a program? Are they some kind of weird mind trick thing, hallucination, schizophrenia shit that I'm making up to make myself feel better? There are just so many things that go through my mind. It's something. It's because I see things for a living, and if people are telling me that the things that I see that seem as real as anybody else are fake, then it's just hard to believe that somebody I can't see is supposed to be real too, because people I empathize with the logic of, well, if I can't see it, then it's not real, and because I empathize with that, I'm kind of like, well, now I'm going to take this to the extreme in my mind. I think that's how my mind works anyways, or maybe there's some other reason why I question whether people I don't see aren't real. It's just because, but also when I do see things that other people don't see, I assume they're real, and that everybody else just can't see it for some reason. Just I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, the pill bottle, I kept for some reason, and I filled it with these diamonds. Shit. These, like, diamond substance, and this is a lot. The first two are obviously, like, more fucking symbolism. It's just, well, they're fake diamonds, but it's more like my, I hope that I feel as good as everybody romanticizes wealth and shit like that, and I love the refractions and reflections of diamonds. They aren't my best friend, though. Fucking, I just wish that pills worked the way that some people think they do, which is that they're a cure-all and that you'll feel better by taking them. I've tried a lot of pills and I just don't feel like, and not like recreational drug wise. I mean, like, I've tried a lot of prescriptions and shit that just do absolutely nothing, and the few that do work, like, they make me either a zombie, or like there's one that works, which is like one of the addictive ones, and that's why I can't get it. Even though they gave me 10, and then I finished those in half a year. So like 10 pills in half a year, I feel like is an addiction. Is not an addiction, but they don't know that, and I don't know that. I guess I just know that it made me feel productive, and every day I took it, it was like I could do shit and be kind of normal. But even if I did get like permission and access to it, I feel like there's always that chance that it would stop working, because that's what another problem is for me, at least, is that like I try shit, and then shit that works, it like works temporarily, and then it just stops working. It's almost like my body's like, well, nah, we're not gonna listen to this anymore, or something. Sometimes I like stop and then I start again, any kind of like vitamin D or something that I think would have worked. And sometimes it makes me feel better, but it might be a placebo effect, and I don't know. I can't tell, but sometimes that works, but usually not. I don't know. But anyways, um, I made this wire wand thing for some fucking reason forever ago. There's a cotton ball in it, um, because I wanted to make that like light ass magic effect, and because it contrasts with metal. I can't tell. Is there a way to focus this? I guess not, but I guess my camera's too stupid. Oh, okay, cool. So it has a cotton ball in the center of it and some etchings and stuff. Mainly because nice. Mainly because I wanted to make it seem as mystical as possible, and I've always had a thing for witchy like things. I'm not Wiccan or anything, and I have studied it a bit, but it's just like magic's another thing where it's like that unseen shit that nobody really believes in, and I don't know, something about the witchy atmosphere makes me feel like I fucking, belong in that atmosphere. And it's not like I feel like I have powers. I feel like I'm not, I don't have powers or anything, but I just feel like that kind of difference, that kind of outcasting of like, you're not normal, but not in like a way that makes me feel powerful, more in a way that makes me feel like never going to be accepted by humanity because I'm not human or something. Um, anyways, so the next thing is the fucking some shit to show how fucking delusional I am. Delusional isn't the right word for this. This one is more obliviousness. I made this. I need a back to this. I'm gonna use this. So it's this wire sculpture thing that says lactose intolerant. I don't know how to hold this without lactose intolerant. And I was listening to the song from the Misfits soundtrack called Lactose Intolerant, and I was making this while I felt super terrible. I was like bedridden for like 3 days. I felt super terrible. I was listening to this and making this sculpture, and I was eating ice cream because I thought, because my mom told me it would make me feel better, or at least that's how I remember it, and that's how I wrote it down in a journal. I'm saying that because I don't really like remember the things happening. It's just what I recorded. But anyways, so lactose intolerant, while I was eating ice cream, and then it just suddenly occurred to me what lactose intolerance was, and the fact that I had been like eating ice cream and drinking milk and feeling more and more horrible, and like getting into like vomit states, and my fucking entire it just felt like I was dying in my stomach. And um we didn't have money for medical help, so we didn't go to the hospital back then. But so I stopped everything lactose because my mind was like, let's just test this out, because um maybe this is what's causing it. And of course, like within 2 days I feel fucking fantastic. And I'm like, well, so I go to the doctors after we renewed our insurance like a few months or something, and they like tested it, and they were like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have been eating ice cream and having milk to feel better. So I just think this fucking, it's hilarious that I had to make a sculpture and listen to a song in order to realize what would have been wrong with me. I mean, that's some fucking next level oblivious shit. Um, I fucking, what else don't I know about myself that I need to listen to the song to and make a wire sculpture of to realize? Anyways, um, this next thing is also a wire sculpture. Um, two wire sculptures, which is like a person dabbing. I may or may not have been inspired by watching Crank Gameplays Ethan. Um, I don't know. I was already originally making a person out of this wire, and then I was like watching him, and then I was like, I mean, people don't do typically do too interesting of poses like the dab with wire sculptures, and by that I mean I'm a narcissist, and I'd like to believe that, but I'm 90% sure I'm wrong because I've seen many interesting sculptures. I don't know. I'm just trying to sound better than I am. Anyways, I wrapped string around it for texture because it's, I don't know, some glitchy ass bullshit. And then I made this hand, which I kind of um call a witch's hand because it's fucking abnormally shaped and abnormally colored. You can technically hang it on your Christmas tree. The discount code for this is fucking witchy ass bullshit, and you can buy it on Nowhere because I'm gonna keep it for life, but I'm fucking I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but yeah, this is probably a symbolism for I need a hand in life. Just kidding. Goddamn. I think that fucking. Oh, okay. Um. So yeah, those obviously don't have as much thought as the others. Um. Oh wow, a cop. Anyways, I like doing these creatures called head trends. They don't usually have human-looking heads, but this time I was like, well, what if there's a human where we sipped from their head on the cup? So here he is trying to like stay up despite the fact that he's being drank from. And then it says, how does it feel to sip from my head? Fuck. Okay. How does it feel to sip from my head? And then, are you capable of putting yourself in my cup? Because he's a cup instead of shoes. Well, he is wearing shoes, but you know what I mean.
Probably. Hopefully. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, so this is my cup yo. Cup dude yo. He's gonna be dead in the trash soon. So this is also a memorial. Very sad day. Rest in peace, Cup dude. You will be missed. Um, Maybe I'll recreate you. But that will be your child or relative, not really you. You will probably be broken down or suffocate some poor animal because I am fucking wasting some shit right now because I'm about to be homeless. But that's a whole other story that you don't need to know. Um, okay. Say goodbye to Cup Dude. I love you, dude.
I miss the trash. So that'll be done later. Post production. I painted my own green screen for videos that I never did. And I'm probably gonna have to get rid of that. And by probably, I mean I'm 100% gonna have to get rid of this. This is a huge fucking wooden board with green paint on it. But at least it's not something that I care about as much. Well, this side. The other side actually has a legitimate painting on it. And I'm thinking about turning that around and doing the second half of this vlog because I definitely should have ate something at least like 10 hours ago. But, you know, who likes that eating bullshit? Actually, before I do the painting, that's right, I'm gonna do the last thing, which I used though as a back for the lactose intolerant. I made this wonderful carving. Look how detailed. I'm just kidding. It's on the other side. No, it's the first time I used a wood burner. I obviously this is more abstract. Um, I love abstract art, but I especially love this abstract art because you can like feel it. It's so like the ridges and stuff, um, and it just smells so good, and it smells so good to wood burn. Like if you've never wood burned, and even if you're not fucking artistically inclined or you don't feel like you are, because I don't really believe that exists, um, it's fucking it smells so good if you like the smell of wood burning, which I do. And I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that a tree died for this. Probably not the best, but like I didn't create too many of these. I created like 3. One of them had infinity on it because infinity is my favorite word. Ah, camera, why do you do this to me? Anyways, yeah. I created one that had infinity on this side and then nothing on this side because the concept of nothing and infinity fascinates me for some fucking reason. Um, and then I also made one with Bill Cipher on it because Bill Cipher, and on the other side, it was Bill Cipher on this side, and then on the other side there was Steven Universe Ruby, um, and it had like a poem on it, and I'm trying to remember it, but it was basically about missing her other half, Ruby's other half, um, Sapphire. My memory's terrible. I've literally just watched Steven Universe, Ruby, and Sapphire. Why do I always doubt things? The first time I talked, my friends of mine that I didn't know watched Steven Universe talked about it. They were using the names, and I thought they were literally talking about the gemstones, despite the fact that I watch the show. Um, I was like, why are you guys talking about gemstones? And they're like, Steven Universe, that show you just said you watch. So, like, most of the time, whenever people are talking about shows now, I kind of just shut up because if I say that I watch something and then somebody brings something up that's completely obvious, I'm gonna probably think of the wrong thing. I did that a lot with Game of Thrones too, so I just stopped. I just was like, no, I lied. I didn't watch it. Um, even though I read the book, and Bran's my favorite character because he wants to climb everything, which same. Any characters who act like a cat are basically me. Wow, that's super cringy. Same with Arya Stark. Anyways, that's Game of Thrones isn't why I'm existent in the universe, probably. But my point is that if I ever get shit wrong, it's because I'm fucked memory wise. And it's not for any other reason. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be back after I turn that painting around and do a few other things. See me myself in the next video. Um, if I ever post this, don't fucking like, comment, or subscribe because I don't really want too many people to see this, but I do want to post it online, possibly, so I can have access to it. Like, if I lose access to the internet, well, like, to, my passwords or some shit because my memory bullshit, I can at least attempt to look up this video online and like watch it for memories and shit. I can't guarantee that nobody will see it, but whatever. Hopefully the net neutrality or some shit doesn't completely ruin shit. Alright. Bye. I don't know how to stop this.